The alien ships showed up above Earth without warning. They were big and smooth, casting dark shadows over cities everywhere. Captain Hyun-woo Kim looked at the video feed from space. He felt worried. After working for 20 years in the South Korean Air Force, he thought nothing could surprise him anymore. He was wrong. "Captain, we got a message," said Lieutenant Ji-soo Park. Her hands moved quickly over the controls. "We can't understand the language." When they finally figured out what the message said, it was simple. The Galactic Concordat had come to see if Earth deserved to join them. They thought humans were primitive, but had some potential. Earth's governments tried to talk peacefully with the aliens. The aliens didn't answer. They just kept watching Earth from orbit, not seeming to care about talking. Everything changed when Dr. Taho Lee and his team disabled an alien scout ship with a new electromagnetic pulse weapon. The ship fell into the Pacific Ocean. Humans got their first piece of alien technology. The aliens got angry fast. They thought humans were attacking them, not just defending themselves. 3 days later, at 3 in the morning, the aliens attacked military bases all over the world at the same time. Captain Kim was visiting the Busan Naval Base and barely lived through the attack. The building fell apart around him. When he crawled out of the broken pieces, he saw alien ships floating above the burning city. The war had started. Captain Kim managed to stand up despite the pain in his leg. Dust covered his uniform. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. Around him, other survivors called for help in the dark. "Anyone with medical training, help the wounded," Kim shouted. He found a flashlight in the rubble and turned it on. The beam showed broken concrete, twisted metal, and bodies. Many bodies. In the distance, alien ships fired glowing weapons at anything that moved. The night sky turned orange with fires. Kim heard explosions from other parts of the city. "Captain, over here," a voice called. Kim limped toward the sound. He found Sergeant Min-ho trapped under a fallen beam. 3 other soldiers worked to free him. "What are those things?" Min-ho asked through gritted teeth. "I don't know," Kim said, "but they're not here to make friends." Together, they freed the sergeant. Kim organized the survivors into groups. Some searched for medical supplies. Others looked for weapons. A few tried to establish communication with other bases. "Sir, all channels are dead," reported a communications officer. "I can't reach anyone." Kim wasn't surprised. The aliens had obviously targeted communication centers first. It was what he would have done. By dawn, Kim had gathered 78 survivors in what remained of the underground storage area. They had some food, water, and a few weapons. Not enough to fight back, but enough to survive for now. Dr. Yoon, the base medical officer, set up a treatment area for the wounded. "Captain, we need more medical supplies," she said. "And we have people who need a hospital." "We can't move in daylight," Kim said. "Those ships will see us." Through a crack in the ceiling, they watched the alien vessels. The ships moved in patterns, searching. Occasionally, one would fire at something on the ground. "Why are they doing this?" asked Lieutenant Park, who had made her way to the base from another facility. Her uniform was torn and dirty. "We didn't threaten them. Dr. Lee's team shot down their ship," Kim said. "That was after they ignored all our attempts to communicate," Park argued. "What were we supposed to do? Let them spy on us forever?" Kim had no answer. He was a soldier, not a diplomat. As night fell, Kim organized a small team to venture into the city. They needed supplies and information. He picked 5 people, including Lieutenant Park. "We move quietly. No heroics," he told them. "If you see aliens on the ground, hide. Don't engage." They slipped out through a drainage pipe that led away from the base. The city was dark except for fires still burning in some buildings. The team moved from shadow to shadow. They found a hospital 3 kilometers away. Most of it was destroyed, but the pharmacy remained partly intact. They filled bags with medicine and supplies. "Captain, look," whispered Park, pointing to a working television in an abandoned store. On the screen, a shaken news anchor reported that similar attacks had happened worldwide. Military bases, government buildings, power plants, all destroyed in the first wave. Civilian areas were mostly untouched, but people were panicking. This is not just an attack on South Korea, Kim realized. This is an attack on humanity. As they made their way back, they saw something new. A small alien craft had landed in a park. 2 figures moved around it. They weren't human. They walked on 2 legs but were taller and thinner than people. Their skin reflected the firelight strangely. "They're collecting samples," Park whispered as they watched from behind a wall. The aliens picked up plants, soil, and water. "They're studying us," Kim said, "learning about our world." "While killing us," Park added. When they returned to base, Kim shared what they had seen. He also shared his plan. "We can't win a direct fight," he told the survivors, "but we can survive. We can learn about them. And maybe we can find others who are fighting back." A young soldier raised his hand. "Sir, are you saying we should just hide?" "No," Kim said firmly. "I'm saying we need to be smart. The aliens have better technology and weapons, but we have something they don't." "What's that?" several people asked. "This is our home," Kim said. "We know every street, every building, every hiding place. And we know something else. Humans don't give up easily." As if to answer him, the radio they had found suddenly crackled to life. A voice spoke through the static. "This is General Da-Jung Choi of the United Defense Coalition. To all survivors, you are not alone. Humanity will fight back. I repeat, you are not alone." Captain Kim smiled for the first time since the attacks began. The war had just started, and despite everything, he felt a spark of hope. The aliens thought humans would give up quickly. They were wrong. For the first time, in 50,000 years of taking over planets, the Galactic Concordat faced an enemy that wouldn't stop fighting. 6 months after the attacks, Captain Hyunwoo Kim sat in a meeting room deep under the Ural Mountains. The room was filled with people from many countries. Some wore military uniforms, others wore lab coats. All looked tired but determined. "Show us again," said General Da-Jung Choi, pointing to the holographic display. Dr. Su-Bin Kang nodded. She was small and quiet, but everyone listened when she spoke. Before the invasion, she had been a university professor. Now she led the team studying alien technology. "Watch what happens when we use this frequency," she said, adjusting some controls. On the display, a piece of alien metal changed color and became partly see-through. "The alien ships use a similar material for their shields," Dr. Kang explained. "If we change our missiles to send out this frequency, they can go through the shields." "Are you certain?" General Choi asked. "We've tested it 15 times, Dr. Kang said. "It works." "How soon can we use this?" the general asked. 2 weeks, maybe less." Captain Kim watched the general's face. For the first time in months, he saw hope there. "Captain Kim, you'll coordinate with the European teams," General Choi ordered. "We need every missile factory working on this." Kim nodded. He had come a long way from South Korea. After escaping Busan with his group of survivors, they had fought their way north. Along the way, they joined with other resistance groups. Eventually, they made contact with General Choi's United Defense Coalition. The coalition had brought together soldiers and scientists from around the world. They worked from hidden bases, sharing information using old radio technology the aliens couldn't easily track. Far away in Seoul, Lieutenant Jisoo Park crouched in a dark subway tunnel. With her were 20 fighters, a mix of soldiers and civilians. They were dirty and thin, but their eyes were sharp. "The patrol will pass in 5 minutes," Park whispered. "Team 1 takes the front. Team 2 takes the rear. No shooting unless necessary. We want their weapons." The aliens had landed ground troops in major cities. They seemed to be looking for something, or someone. They moved in regular patterns, which made them easy to ambush. Park's fighters had learned that alien weapons could be used by humans. They just needed to be adjusted for smaller hands. Each captured weapon meant one more human could fight. "They're coming," said a lookout. Park nodded. Her people melted into the shadows. The alien patrol moved slowly down the street above. There were 8 of them, tall figures in body armor. They carried long rifles that fired energy instead of bullets. Park gave the signal. Her teams moved silently into position. Then she pressed a button. A small explosion went off a block away, just enough to draw the aliens' attention. As they turned toward the noise, Park's fighters attacked from behind. It was over in seconds. 6 aliens were down. 2 escaped. Park's team had suffered only 1 injury. "Collect the weapons and move," Park ordered. "They'll send reinforcements." By the time alien ships arrived, the humans were gone, vanished into the maze of tunnels beneath the city. Back on the Concordat command ship, Commander Durak stared at the battle reports. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence, showing his frustration. "Another patrol lost in Seoul," said his second-in-command. "That's the 3rd this week," Durak replied. "Same pattern." "Yes, Commander. Quick strike. Minimal force. Then they disappear." Durak made a hissing sound. "Why don't they fight properly? They should form armies, establish bases, follow battle protocols." "Perhaps they don't know how to fight properly," suggested the second-in-command. "Or perhaps this is how they fight," Durak said slowly. "Computer, show me all human conflict records we've gathered." The screen filled with images from Earth's history. Durak watched battles from ancient times to modern wars. He began to notice something. "They adapt," he said. "When they can't win with force, they change tactics. When new weapons appear, they find ways to counter them. They learn from defeats." "Surely all intelligent species do this," said the second-in-command. "Not like them," Durak replied. "Not this quickly." 2 weeks later, General Choi gave the order. All around the world, hidden missile launchers fired at once. The missiles had been modified according to Dr. Kang's specifications. The Concordat ships didn't bother to evade. Their shields had stopped all previous attacks. But these missiles were different. They passed through the shields and exploded against the hulls. 23 alien ships were damaged or destroyed in the first volley. In the command center under the Urals, the humans cheered as they watched the data come in. "It worked," someone shouted. Captain Kim smiled but remained focused. "Second wave, launch when ready," he ordered. The aliens responded quickly. They'd moved their ships higher, out of range of the missiles. But the humans had anticipated this. In the Himalayas, where the mountains reached toward space, General Choi had positioned his strongest force. With longer-range missiles and the advantage of high altitude, they could still reach the alien ships. When a large Concordat landing force descended toward the mountains, they fell into the trap. General Choi's forces fired everything they had. The battle lasted for hours. Alien ships fell from the sky. Ground troops on both sides fought in the snow. But for the first time, the humans weren't just running or hiding. They were winning. As night fell, the remaining alien forces pulled back. They retreated to orbit, leaving their dead behind. Commander Durak received the news in silent shock. The battle projections had shown a 98% chance of Concordat victory. Instead, they had suffered their first real defeat. "How is this possible?" asked the High Council member on the communication screen. "These humans are primitives. Their technology is centuries behind ours." "They are primitives who took down one of our scout ships," Durak replied. "Primitives who figured out how to counter our shields in 6 months. Primitives who fight in ways our battle computers can't predict." "Are you saying we should withdraw?" the council member asked, disbelief in his voice. "I'm saying we made a mistake," Durak answered. "We thought this would be a simple disciplinary action against a young species. Instead, we've started a war against an enemy we don't understand." That night, Lieutenant Park's team raided an alien supply depot. Captain Kim helped coordinate missile production in factories across Europe. Dr. Kang continued her work on alien technology, and General Choi planned the next attack. The war was far from over, but something had changed. Humanity had proven it would not be conquered easily. The Galactic Concordat had never faced such a challenge. And deep inside, Commander Durak wondered if they had made a terrible mistake in coming to Earth. Senior biologist Han-jun stood before the Concordat High Command. The large meeting room was silent as the leaders of 7 different alien species waited for his report. "Humans are not like us," Han-jun said, pointing to the data on the screen. "Their unpredictability is not random. It comes from how they evolved." The High Command members shifted in their seats. This was not what they wanted to hear. "Explain," ordered Supreme Leader Bake, his outer eyes blinking rapidly. "All of our species evolved in stable environments," Han-jun said. "Our worlds had regular seasons, predictable food sources, and clear hierarchies. Cooperation and following rules helped us survive." He changed the screen to show Earth's history. Humans developed on a planet that constantly changed. Ice ages, floods, droughts, volcanic eruptions. They faced predators larger and stronger than themselves. They had to be both hunters and the hunted. "And this matters how?" asked War Minister Song. "It matters because adaptability became their main survival trait," Han-jun explained. "They don't think like us. When faced with a threat, they don't follow a standard response. They try new approaches until something works." Supreme Leader Bake leaned forward. "Are you saying we cannot defeat them?" "I'm saying we have underestimated them," Han-jun replied carefully, "and we have not prepared for how they fight." Meanwhile on Earth, in a secret facility under the Amazon rainforest, Captain Hyunwoo Kim watched as Dr. Subin Kang worked with their unusual guest. Jun-ho looked mostly human, except for his golden skin and extra finger on each hand. He was a Concordat scientist who had been captured 3 weeks ago during a raid on an alien research station. Unlike other captured aliens who refused to speak, Jun-ho had asked for asylum almost immediately. "I've studied your people for months," Jun-ho told them in his strangely accented voice. "The Concordat doesn't understand humans. I wanted to know more." At first, no one trusted him. But slowly, Jun-ho proved his value. He explained how Concordat technology worked. He told them about weaknesses in alien defenses. And most importantly, he seemed genuinely fascinated by humans. "Your species fights differently," Jun-ho explained one day as he helped Dr. Kang with a communication device. "The Concordat wages war through superior technology and numbers. We follow battle plans created by our most advanced AI systems." "And humans?" Dr. Kang asked. "Humans wage war through innovation and determination," Jun-ho said. "You keep changing tactics. You use technologies in ways they weren't designed for. And you never give up, even when defeat seems certain." Captain Kim watched from across the room. He still wasn't sure if he trusted Jun-ho, but the alien's help had been valuable. "If your people are so advanced, why help us?" Kim asked. Jun-ho put down the tool he was holding. "Because the Concordat is wrong about humans. They see you as primitives to be conquered or eliminated. I see you as something new, something that could change the galaxy." With Jun-ho's help, Dr. Kang made a major breakthrough. She found a way to intercept and decode Concordat communications. "It works like this," she explained to the United Defense Coalition leaders. "Their ships use quantum entanglement for instant communication across space. Jun-ho showed me how to create a device that can listen in." "Can they detect this?" General Choi asked. "No," Jun-ho answered. "The system was designed with efficiency in mind, not security. The Concordat has never needed to worry about enemies intercepting messages before." For the next week, they listened to alien communications. They learned about supply shipments, patrol schedules, and battle plans. Captain Kim worked with military leaders from around the world to coordinate a response. "We need to hit them all at once," Kim said, pointing to the map showing alien supply routes. No warning. Maximum impact. General Choi nodded. Operation Thunderstrike. Every resistance cell attacks at the same time, using the information we've gathered. The plan was ambitious. Humans would strike Concordat targets on land, in the air, and in space simultaneously. They would use the aliens' own communication system to coordinate their attacks. On the day of the operation, Captain Kim was in the command center with Dr. Kang and Jun-Ho. The alien watched with wide eyes as humans around the world prepared to attack. "Will this work?" Jun-Ho asked quietly. "We'll find out," Kim replied. At exactly 300 hours GMT, the attack began. In orbit, modified satellites fired on alien supply ships. On the ground, resistance fighters struck Concordat bases and outposts. In the air, the few remaining human aircraft, enhanced with alien technology, targeted landing zones. The Concordat was caught completely by surprise. Their forces had been spread thin, confident in their superior technology and intelligence. They didn't expect a coordinated global assault. In the command center, reports began coming in. Seoul team reports success. 3 alien transports destroyed. Amazon squad has taken control of the research facility. Orbital strike successful. 4 supply ships disabled. Captain Kim watched the screens with growing hope. For the first time since the war began, the aliens were the ones running. "This isn't just about today," Dr. Kang said, standing next to him. "This proves we can fight them on their terms." Jun-Ho nodded. "More than that, it proves the Concordat's greatest weakness." "Which is?" Kim asked. "Arrogance," Jun-Ho replied. "They believe their way is the only way. They can't imagine being defeated by a lesser species." On the Concordat command ship, Supreme Leader Baek received the reports with growing anger. Losses were mounting across Earth. Their carefully planned occupation was falling apart. How did they know where to strike? War Minister Song demanded. How did they coordinate across the planet? Senior biologist Han-Jun watched silently. He had warned them about underestimating humans, but no one had truly listened. "We need to change our approach," Han-Jun finally said. "We need to study how humans think, not just what weapons they have." Supreme Leader Baek turned all 4 eyes toward him. "What do you suggest?" "For the first time in our history," Han-Jun said, "the Concordat must adapt to an enemy, rather than expecting the enemy to submit to us." Back on Earth, as the operation concluded, Captain Kim found Jun-Ho staring at a map showing the results of the attack. "What are you thinking?" Kim asked. "I'm thinking that the Concordat has existed for 50,000 years, Jun-Ho said. "And in one day, humans have forced them to do something they've never done before." "What's that?" Jun-Ho looked at him. "Play defense." In the depths of space, humanity's fortunes changed dramatically during a critical moment of the interstellar war. Dr. Kang, a brilliant scientist, developed a revolutionary computer virus that could penetrate the alien Concordat's technological defenses. The virus was a masterpiece of adaptation, using fragments of the aliens' own communication systems against them. Colonel Kim, once a captain who had survived early devastating battles, now led a daring mission to deliver this digital weapon. His team included Lieutenant Park and Jun-Ho, a technical expert who understood the Concordat's technological vulnerabilities. They worked aboard a captured alien vessel, their hope hanging on a complex digital attack that could turn the tide of war. Jun-Ho's insight proved crucial. The Concordat had never imagined any species could breach their systems. Their technological arrogance would become their fatal weakness. As their ship approached the massive Concordat flagship, tension filled the cramped corridors of their stolen vessel. The virus deployment was swift and devastating. Within hours, half of the alien fleet became helpless, massive ships floating silently in the cold vacuum of space, their navigation and weapon systems completely disabled. It was a turning point that no one had predicted would happen so quickly. Back on Earth, General Choi recognized the strategic opportunity. Human military forces launched a global counteroffensive that swept through occupied territories with unprecedented speed. Cities that had been under alien control for months were suddenly liberated. Soldiers who had previously fought defensive battles now pushed forward with renewed hope and determination. In the distant orbit around Jupiter, the remaining Concordat leadership gathered in their command center. High Commander Minsik faced the unthinkable reality of potential defeat. The alien leader recognized something fundamental had changed. Humans were not just another species to be conquered, but a complex and adaptable force that fought differently from any civilization they had encountered before. "We have critically underestimated them," Minsik told his council, his voice heavy with the weight of potential failure. The aliens had always viewed humans as a primitive species, easily subdued and controlled. Now that assumption was crumbling before their eyes. The human counterattack was not just military, but a demonstration of innovative thinking. Where the Concordat relied on established protocols and overwhelming technological superiority, humans showed flexibility, creativity, and an almost unpredictable approach to conflict. Junho's earlier observation rang true. The aliens had never needed robust security because no species had ever challenged them so directly. Their technological systems, once seen as invincible, now revealed profound vulnerabilities that could be exploited. The mission represented more than a military victory. It was a psychological breakthrough, showing that humanity could not only resist, but potentially defeat a technologically superior enemy. The captured Concordat vessel, now a symbol of human ingenuity, carried the hopes of an entire planet. Colonel Kim understood the significance of their mission. Each member of his team knew they were writing a new chapter in human history, transforming from a species on the brink of extinction to potential victors in an impossible war. As human forces reclaimed territories and the alien fleet became increasingly isolated, a new sense of hope spread across the planet. The virus was more than a weapon. It was proof that human intelligence and adaptability could overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. The war was far from over, but for the first time, humanity could see a potential path to victory. The Concordat's seemingly invincible armada had been revealed as fallible, their technological superiority challenged by human creativity and determination. In the vast, silent darkness of space, a new balance of power was emerging, one where humanity was no longer just fighting for survival, but fighting with a genuine chance of triumph. In the vastness of space, an unexpected turn of events marked the end of a brutal interstellar conflict. 18 months after the first alien attack, the Concordat sent a message that would change everything: a formal request for peace. Colonel Kim, Dr. Kang, and Junho were chosen to represent humanity in these critical negotiations. They would meet the alien leadership in Earth's orbit, a neutral ground that symbolized the potential for understanding between two very different civilizations. High Commander Minsik personally greeted the human delegation. His words were both a confession and a recognition of humanity's unique strength. "In 50,000 years," he explained, "we have joined 317 species into our civilization, but never have we met a species like yours." The peace treaty was unlike any previous agreement in galactic history. It declared Earth a sovereign power and required the Concordat to pay substantial reparations for their unprovoked attack. More importantly, humans were now recognized as equals, not conquered subjects, but independent partners in the broader galactic community. Colonel Kim's leadership during the war earned him a new role as Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council. Dr. Kang established an institute focused on adapting Concordat technology for peaceful purposes, turning weapons of war into tools of progress. Junho became a bridge between species, one of the first Concordat scientists to make Earth their new home. 5 years after the war's end, as the final Concordat warship left the solar system, Ambassador Kim received a remarkable message. High Commander Minsik had added a new entry to the Concordat's official historical records, a stunning admission of their greatest mistake. The message acknowledged something profound. Technological superiority does not guarantee victory. The Concordat had underestimated humanity's most powerful weapon, their ability to adapt, to think differently, to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. What began as a devastating invasion had transformed into a moment of mutual understanding. Humanity had not just survived, they had fundamentally changed the way an ancient galactic civilization understood warfare, intelligence, and potential. Junho's work bridging scientific communities, Dr. Kang's innovative research, and Colonel Kim's diplomatic skills represented more than individual achievements. They symbolized humanity's capacity to turn conflict into connection, destruction into opportunity. The peace marked more than the end of a war. It was the beginning of a new era of exploration, cooperation, and mutual respect. Humanity had proven that true strength lies not in technology, but in spirit, creativity, and the willingness to understand those who seem completely different. As the last alien ship disappeared into the darkness of space, Earth looked forward, no longer fighting for survival, but preparing to take its place among the stars.